Good morning, it's 6:11 a.m. on the side of the highway, somewhere near the Continental Divide Trail. Clover over here, all last night was like, we gotta get up at 5:30, oh my god, holy
You're
shit.
the one who was pushing for early hours, and
No.
then you abdicated the time to me so that you could
Yes.
wake up, and if there's anything wrong with the time itself,
Yes.
you could make a video like this.
Yes.
So let the reader know here that a little manipulative.
No. Well, the food is not available basically at this time, so we have to wait. Also, to be completely frank, I abdicate the time to Clover often because I don't need to get up that early. I just get up to keep him company. I could get up at 7 and still make it 30 miles. I don't need the breaks. I don't smoke the cigarettes. It's not just about cigarettes, but
It's not just what.
it's not just cigarettes, but I don't break as much as you.
Say what you really mean.
Apparently, Spring Hill Suites doesn't care about us at all and is not open yet.
Huh?
We're gonna have to go down the road to the cheaper place.
It's been a drag-ass kind of morning, but we finally ate some food. We're gonna have to walk another paved road for a while here to town on this like layout. And then we should be back on the red line by evening. Gonna try to get to Lima in the next 3 days. Tetons. It's good to learn on day 2 of Idaho that it's just like every other state, and occasionally just decides the trail doesn't exist anymore. This is apparently en route. There's faint trails. There's a cairn kind of over here, but it just comes and goes, disappears. I've gotten a little off trail a couple times, but nothing serious. Just gonna have a general meandering down this valley, from what I understand. This is a really nice water source though. It's the first one in the last 10 or 15 miles. Pours off into this little alcove here. A lot of wildflowers going down this ravine as well. I forgot, but earlier we read we're going to cross into something called the U.S. sheep experiment, which is really fun to postulate on when you don't have phone service, because the name is so vague and enigmatic on a subject that doesn't seem like it needs to be. The descriptions written in like far out are just very nebulous, and yeah, I just can't wait to see what exactly is going on there. I thought of that because I see something white up ahead, but I don't think I'm quite there yet. Turns out it's just an oddly white rock. Here's a new variable. The GPS for this part of the trail shows there being a trail that exists on the other side of the creek, but one doesn't. At least a light one exists on this side. And yeah, so I guess trust your feet, right? The undergrowth just gets denser, but there still is kind of a trail here. This is exactly the kind of scenario where I start thinking about the grizzly bears. Just very, very enclosed. You can't see anything beyond a few feet around you. Back on a real trail again. I guess it was just a little bit further west than I thought, but doesn't matter in the end. I was thinking about the transition out of Wyoming into Idaho, and it feels like it's got a flair of Colorado to it, but it's a bit drier. That makes sense too, because it is getting later in the year, and that reminds me of another one of the more interesting things I remember about some of my previous through hikes, which is really intimately getting to see the seasons change. You don't really know when they really change. It's not like there's a date and all of a sudden it's fall, but you start feeling little signs of it. And I can feel some here. It's been colder. The highs haven't been as high, and all the summer water and plants are drying up a little bit. It's kind of one of the first little sets of initial things I'd noticed. And we're probably a little bit more in tune with it right now because we've been outside for 4 months. It's also interesting to me more so than maybe other people because growing up a Texas boy, we didn't have seasons. And especially not in early August. The idea that it would start cooling off is almost incomprehensible. Here's the answer to the sheep question. Nothing really that specifically weird or anything, just they let sheep graze here. Pretty cool. Another thing about this area is that it's really, really quiet. I haven't seen another person in 4 or 5 hours, and I don't really think there are very many people around us. Clover and Splash are the only ones hiking within a day or two going north that I know of, and haven't seen any Sobos. Also, those two could be ahead of me or behind me. I don't really know. I went off trail earlier for a while and came back and haven't seen them, so I'm sure I'll see them at camp. Really vast views up here on these ridges in Idaho, I gotta say. I'm sitting in my tent making dinner. The other two haven't shown up yet. But what a view from here. You can see across this giant plain and the entirety of the Tetons just from sitting here out my tent window. Splash coming down. I was about to take a picture of my tent. Clover's gonna show up at like 10 p.m. I bet. Starting the morning with a easy downhill walk here. That was the windiest night on trail for sure. It was hard to sleep because it felt like our tents were like ripping apart. I got out of camp a little bit later than Clover, who is probably a half mile ahead of me at this point. Give you a good look at what we're looking at. He's just over here on this ridge. Our next 2 days are kind of determined by a phone call we're going to make to the post offices of Lima and Leodore here when they open. There's always got to be some issue with the post office. We're always battling these people. But one of them apparently won't hold your package for more than 10 days or something when the standard is 14. We're worried our stuff's not going to be there. And the other one, we're trying to get them to forward it to a different private address because we're going to get stuck in town over the weekend when the post office is closed again, if not. So we'll hope that works out. This hawk has been coming really close to me. Ooh, he might have gotten something. Yeah, he did. Let's go have a meal. This is the third or fourth time I've seen signposts or something demarking the sheep experiment, yet I've never seen a single sheep in this area. Are they experimenting on making invisible sheep here?
It could be. I've heard them, but
Really?
not seen them.
Are you
So,
sure you weren't just falling asleep?
Pretty sure.
You were counting them? Clover says 16,000 acres of sheep. It's a lot of sheep. I'm going to reiterate. Where? 16,000 empty acres. One of those signs claimed that the sheep only eat 4% of the ground cover, and I guess that's what they're trying to study, is how much sheep eat. Which, I gotta say, people have been herding, raising sheep for like 5,000 years. You guys don't know how much sheep eat yet? But that aside, do they eat a minimal amount of grasses because they just don't exist here? Or what's going on? I'm not even sure this thing's real. These are raspberries, I believe. Let me see what they look like. Should I eat them? Clover's too afraid to eat them. I'm not. It tastes like raspberries to me. We'll see if I Christopher McCandless myself here in a few hours. We immediately ran into some Sobos who said that they had also been eating the raspberries and had not gotten diarrhea yet. It's been a few hours for them, so the odds are starting to stack against Clover's claims here. More for me, whatever. Well, I spent a little bit more time gathering some. They're pretty difficult to get, but if I don't get sick after eating this many, let's say it's game on for the rest of the trail. In a moment very reminiscent of one of our first days on trail, we're gonna have Schrodinger's bear box here in a moment. supposedly there's a bear box that has either Fireball and Gatorade or no Fireball and Gatorade in it up here. And you know what the likelihood is. You want to guess, Clover?
50-50.
You're optimistic. And here we have the moment of truth. Oh my God. Oh my God. Clover really didn't even enjoy his Gatorade. He just drank it in 1 millisecond.
You see what he does?
I watched you. You already had a coffee in your hand, and then you drank that Gatorade as if you were dehydrated. It makes me wonder whether you should be drinking the coffee.
I like my coffee. Yeah. I've earned it.
Hard to tell, but there are so many raspberries on these bushes. We caught him in the act. He's finally broken down. He's trying the raspberries. What's the verdict?
Pretty sure they're raspberries, dude.
Yeah, they taste like raspberries.
A little bit.
We've just been blessed, actually, because there's huckleberries here now, too, or something similar to them. We're just in berrytopia at this point. Today's just kind of turned into one of those afternoons where you just kind of stop and eat all the time. I've got a handful here that I just grabbed. Clover and I both just talked about how on the PCT we independently had done this, gotten distracted, and both walked around a corner and saw a bear. So we're trying to keep our eyes open actually this time and make sure that doesn't happen. These are all like huckleberry bushes around us.
Like, what is a tree like?
Feels like we're in New Mexico again. Drinking out of troughs, camping in dead forests. Kind of hot and sweaty. But I guess that's what Idaho is. It's dry. Not a bad campsite overall, though. I'm leaving a little late this morning because we made an agreement to meet at the highway at 1 p.m. And I think I can get there a little bit quicker than Clover or Splash could, so I slept in. We had to coordinate this morning because, for one, it's illegal to hitchhike in Idaho, which normally we wouldn't care about, but it's also on an interstate, which generally are impossible to hitchhike on, so we're gonna split the $40 cost. Oh, and short update. It's been like roughly 16 hours since we started eating the raspberries and huckleberries. And I have not died of dysentery yet, so I think we're good to go. It's called Flat Top Mountain for obvious reasons. Standing right at the edge of a ridge, coming down to the road, going into Lima, and I'm starting to understand what people mean when they said the area between Lima and Leodore would be pretty barren and boring. Because behind me is where we came from. It's a little dry out there, but not too bad. But as we start going further northwest, which is the direction we're kind of be traveling, you can see it starts to get a lot drier. It's like we're going back into the basin. Off the right side over here is the little valley, or it's a pretty big valley that goes up to Lima, where we're gonna have to get a ride a little bit later. As you can see, it's really dry out there too. So the next week's gonna be really, really fun.
Perfect, because I can know your hitchhiker. Yeah. The sheriff was first driving this way, then came back, or back, because he came
We're waiting
off,
underneath
because but if you just
overpass
stand
on
in
the
there,
interstate.
do nothing. You
Did we have to
can
pay
do
for that shell? They haven't shown up yet. Much cooler down here though. All right, it's like the second or third hour of sitting under this overpass waiting for our legal ride. We actually heard this woman here in the middle of Mountain Goat tried to hitchhike, and the sheriff came down and said, hell no, I don't care how foreign you are, no hitchhiking here. I was wondering if the jail's located in Lima. I bet you we could have probably got arrested, booked, and then processed, gone out on bail by this point in time. So cost-benefit analysis says we should just start fucking hitching. All right, Diogenes, you look like you're pensive right now. You got any thoughts?
Yeah, I'm fucking hungry. I want to go to town. This sucks. Ass.